welcome to Tasty Treats. My name is Miss Terry and today we are going to be making Rice Krispies Treat Monsters. So, things that we are going to be needing are a box of Rice Krispies Treats, a bag of large marshmallows, a stick of butter, and at least one container of frosting. Now, however many different colored monsters you want to be making, that determines how much frosting you're going to be needing, but today we're only going to be using one container. We're going to be wanting some sugar eyes. And to make our monsters all nice and colorful, we are going to be using an assortment of food coloring dyes. Things that we're going to be needing to make our little monsters are a mixing bowl, a plate, a microwave safe bowl, a 1 cup measuring cup, half tablespoon measuring cup, a knife or a sharp object that we are going to be using to cut up our Rice Krispies Treats, and some spoons to do some mixing. And last but not least, we'll need some type of tray to put our Rice Krispies Treats in. All right, let's get baking. All right, so our first step that we are going to be needing is our butter, a microwave safe bowl, and a sharp object. Now the recipe calls for 1/4 cup of butter, so that is 4 tablespoons of butter. So my little butter has some notches, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just gonna cut. Ooh. It's not as sharp as I anticipated, but that's okay because it cut the butter. And that's what we want. All right, so now we're gonna put our bit of butter into our bowl, and we are going to stick it in the microwave until it's nice and melted. All right, I'm going to put it in for about 10 seconds and see if it's all nice and melted. All right, so that looks pretty melted to me. So now it's time to add some marshmallows. All right, so now that our butter is nice and melted, it's time to add some marshmallows. So, because I don't have a stove here at the library, I'm going to be using our microwave for the marshmallows. So I'm going to be still using our microwave safe bowl, but I'm also going to be rotating it and putting all the melted gooey stuff into this bowl and doing most of my mixing here. So if you do have a stove at home, again, make sure you have parental permission. But if not, that's what the microwave is for. So here we go. We're gonna just put some marshmallows in. Just kind of put a handful. Should work out. So again, I'm going to put it in for about 15-20 second intervals. So here we go. All right, so I have some marshmallow goodness. So I'm just kind of stir it. I'm going to pour it into my bowl, and we're gonna repeat this process until all of our marshmallows are nice and melted. that my marshmallow is all nice and melted, we are going to take our half tablespoon and our vanilla extract, and we're gonna put it on in. We are going to stir it. Get it all nice and mixed together. Okay. Now that that is nice and mixed in, we are going to take our measuring cup and our Rice Krispies, and we are going to put 6 cups into our bowl here. All right. Now that that's all in, we are going to stir until all the Rice Krispies are nice and melted on in there. All right, now that our Rice Krispies and marshmallows are all combined, we're gonna set that to the side. Ooh, got a little stuck there. And now we're gonna take our container that we're gonna let them cool in. Now I don't have like canola spray, so I'm just going to take some of our butter that we used earlier and just smear it. So then when we put our Rice Krispies in the fridge to let it cool, it'll be really easy to take off. So I'm just gonna smear it around and we'll start next. Best to get the sides as well. Alright. And I'm going to take a paper towel and just kind of wipe it in to make sure that I got all the spaces. We don't want to put all of our hard work in and then the food gets stuck in the container. That'd be so sad. Container is nice and greased. It's time to start putting in the Rice Krispies. Okay, so now that it's all in the container, we're just going to kind of smush it around to fit the bottom. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, just so long as it covers as evenly as possible, because we don't want super thick and then super thin. All right. I think that's as good as mine is going to turn out. So now we're going to put this in the fridge to let it cool off. All right, so we are going to put our Rice Krispies into the fridge to let chill, and I'm going to check in for about 15 to 20 minutes. Alright, now that our Rice Krispies are nice and chilled, we are going to take our sharp object and our plate, and we are going to cut them into little squares. So however big you want your monsters to be is how big you're going to want to cut them. So if you want really big monsters, then cut them into really big shapes. But if you monsters, I suggest cutting them tiny. So I'm just gonna cut these and take them out. Alrighty, so now I'm going to put them onto the plates. Plate of Rice Krispies. So now we are going to be working on our frosting. All right, now we are going to be making our icing. So we're going to take our frosting, our food coloring, candy eyes, but that's gonna be a little bit more for later, our microwave safe bowl, and another spoon. So whatever colors you want to make your monsters, those are the colors that you're going to want. I actually already have some colored frosting, so I'm just going to reuse that because I had a lot left over from the last time I made this. But it looks like I have some white frosting still left in here, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Just gonna pour it all into the bowl. As much frosting as we can. All right, and as I said, it looks like we need some more food coloring for mine, so I'm gonna take some red. Want little pinches. Don't be squeezing the whole bottle in. It's very tempting, but don't do it. Okay, so now I'm going to stir. I'm gonna have some pink monsters for me, which is nice because I like the color pink. Make sure that is all nice and stirred. All right, so now we are going to stick it in the microwave until it gets melty. All right, so now that my icing is nice and liquidy, so we're gonna have like a little soup texture there. We're gonna stir it, just make sure all of the dye is nice and mixed together. And now comes my favorite part. I love dipping things. So we're going to take our plate of Rice Krispies, and we are also going to open up our little Monster Eye pack. Now, another thing that you can use if you don't have sugar eyes are chocolate chips. Those would be cute little eyes as well. Okay, oh, we are going to do some little eyes. So, we are going to take our first Rice Krispie and dip half of it in. Just like that. Ooh. And then we're gonna take some Monster Eyes and stick it on. You're gonna wanna do your Monster Eyes soon after you dip because the frosting will harden pretty quickly. So we're just going to repeat this dipping process until all of our Rice Krispies are monster-fied. monsters can look however you want them to look. If you want a rainbow monster, go for it, I say. All right, now that I have my monsters all monster-fied, we're going to stick it in the freezer just so the icing can harden. So I would probably put it in there for 5 to 10 minutes. So here we go. Alright, now that we have our monsters out of the freezer, I'm just going to take a spatula, kind of pry them off. And there we have it, our little Rice Krispie Treat monster. Enjoy!